Okay, hi guys, and welcome to the spoiler discussion of Star Wars The Last Jedi. And I'm very happy to be joined by my dear friend and YouTube colleague. Uh,
Hello, this is
Hills,
Hilzo.
yes.
How are you guys? Welcome.
I just stopped for a second just because I heard the Hangout playing. So wait a
Yeah.
second to check out how it is. Okay, it looks fine. So we can continue, and I'm gonna be watching the page, of course, for your comments. Okay, so me and my buddy Helzo both did a non-spoiler reviews of the movie, and I gave it an 8 out of 10, and he gave it a 9.5 out of 10. So this time we kind of differ in opinions, I
just a bit, just
think.
a bit, just a bit.
Just a bit somewhere. So we have to discuss this with spoilers. So you have been warned, and Santa Rising is here. So hi to you too.
Ooh, he's already here. Hey man. Yeah man.
If you haven't seen the movie, please do not watch us. Although I really love that you're here, but do not do this because it's spoilery.
Unless you like spoilers. And I
Of
do know you
course.
like spoilers.
Oh damn. Okay, so what is the point that you want to touch upon first?
The massive problem, like this is the main point I want to touch. However, I don't think it's going to be very appropriate to touch it first. The massive internet divide for this movie. It's for me it's ridiculous because I don't get how you can be divided about such a movie from the new generation, and how this effect it is basically the same effect as when there was Batman versus Superman movie. If you remember that, it was basically split in half. The whole internet was split in half. Some
Yeah.
liked it, some didn't like it, and there was almost no middle ground. No people who kind of enjoyed it. It was either one or the other, and this is basically what we're seeing here. And I do want to discuss this thing because I'm a little confused, and I've been researching this for the last few days, and I probably banged my head against the wall too many times.
Yeah. Well, I kind of get why, people are divided on this because first it's, from one hand, it's kind of difficult for me to be, to think of myself as such a fan that some people that lived actually, through the old movies, they were alive when they came out. So they have totally different perspective from me. And that's something that only they can have. And
Exactly.
they are one of, I mean, some of them of those people are disappointed of how Luke was handled, and how the Force even is handled, how Rey is, and all of that. I cannot have the same disappointment, you can say, or to even feel that, because I wasn't even alive back then, so um
All right. See,
I'm not insulted by that, but I can get why, and I mean, I can get where they're coming from.
see. All right. I grew up with these movies. All right. I grew up with the first three movies. I love them. I enjoy them. However, that doesn't automatically mean that every next movie should be the same. It's a new direction, it's a new studio, new direction, new effects, new characters, new heroes. Everything is new. However, if you like the movie, you've seen the old movies, right?
Mm.
All right, so you kind of see like that this movie and even The Force Awakens, they're different. They're handled differently, shot differently. The acting is a whole lot different than the first movie. So you have a lot of different things. The story is different. They're trying to move along, move further with the story, and yet it is Star Wars. You still feel Star Wars. Like when I went to watch the movie on premiere day, I knew that I was going to watch Star Wars, and I did watch Star Wars. Yes, it's a new one. It's a new movie. It's totally different from even the first three movie, and from the 1990s, the prologue movies, the one, two, and three. So it is different, yes. However, what I think people don't like about these movies is that after the first three movies, the prologue movies, the prequels, um, they felt very disappointed in what happened then, because the first three movies did nothing as an honor to episode 4, 5, and 6, and unless if you don't count telling the story and telling it badly. However, with this, yes, because if you read the opinions about the prequel movies, you they're awful. Everything is awful. However, with this, it's totally uncharted territory. Like you continue the story from the original after episode 4, after
Yeah.
episode 6, sorry. And this is entirely new. You don't have any basis unless you count the expanded universe, the comic universe, which Disney threw away. Disney announced that they're throwing away the expanded universe, and this is the first thing that enraged hardcore fans, because the expanded universe, the games, the Jedi Academy, the Knights of the Old Republic, every game, every comic, every book, they were from what they call the expanded universe, and everything there was handled very well. And to throw that away is a huge blow to the hardcore fans.
Mm. Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
that's pretty much it for now, because like this is the first thing that happened, and when you trying to think of a story and you throw away half of your material and half of the things that the fan would like to see on the big screen, you're bound to make some enemies. That's one of the things that they did wrong, in my opinion, because I would have loved to see the expanded universe too. However, that doesn't mean that I didn't love what I just saw. I saw Leia using the Force, which is
Mm.
amazing. This was one of the most badass moments ever. I saw Luke as the damaged old man that he is, that they set him up to be after The Force Awakens because he had failed. And it probably was a bit too dark in The Last Jedi. He was a bit too dark, a bit too emo, gloomy, Luke, like depressed, want to die, and Rey giving him some hope to live, which is a classic story in every movie. The most badass character is someone who's sad and depressed, and there's a young girl or a young boy that comes and brings him hope. But it was done well. The acting, the storyline was done well, and I enjoyed it. And I've been actually arguing with some people that there was too much comedy
Mm.
in The
That's,
Last Jedi.
that's another thing that we have to touch upon, because it was too much at some point, like Guardians of the Galaxy. I felt like I was watching Guardians of the Galaxy, which is not a good thing for me. When it's Star Wars, I didn't want to feel Guardians of the Galaxy here, but it was so similar, comedy wise, and Benicio del Toro was there, so I was like, wow, this is exactly now like Guardians of the
Yeah,
Galaxy, because he is the collector there. Not that we saw him a lot, but this all contributed to this feeling at some points. But at other points, with the porks, the comedy was super lovely. Even to me, they were so funny and cute, and their interaction with Chewbacca was hilarious.
yeah, that
So
was.
I just love that. I know that a lot of people, didn't. They were just rolling their eyes, but I was like, this is so, it's funny. I like it. It's kind of charming. Just a second, hold your thought. Steven is talking about. Steven is also a YouTuber. He's talking
I
about
see.
Jumanji and Father Figures. I not really interested in that movie at all. Father Figures,
He has one
like,
point. He
yep.
actually has one point from what I'm reading. It was a bit too long.
Star Wars.
It dragged out.
I didn't feel that way except for the Rose and Finn part,
Yeah.
but we are going to get to that. Okay, so Jumanji, I am not even sure if it's out in Bulgaria. I think it's kind of late. I have to see if it's out. But if it is, I do plan to see that. And I'm not going to talk about Justice League because nobody can change my opinion on that. So, yeah. Never mind that. Erko is also here. He's gonna watch the Hangout when it's with subtitles, but yeah. Anyways, we have to like make a list of what we want to touch upon because otherwise it's just gonna be like a broad discussion of the whole
Yeah.
movie. So let's start with what we did like about the movie. But yeah, you did brought up very good points that everything that has happened so far with Star Wars has contributed somehow to how the fans react now. But what is the biggest factor is just the story, how the movie was made. The rest of the things they kind of suck and suck a lot for some people, but they're not the main problem that they're all enraged about this. So let's start first with what we liked and what we didn't like about Star Wars: The Last Jedi. So you can
All
start
right.
if you like.
Well, I liked almost all of it completely. However, if we have to touch upon some exceptional scenes or developments, I would have to say that the the Ray Luke moment was probably one of the highlights. Like those scenes, that arc was probably one of the highlights of the whole movie because you see first of all you see all those things that are from the previous movies. You see Yoda, like that thing right there. I just want to mention that the thing with Yoda, the scene with Yoda in the tree, that was probably the best thing that has ever been brought back to a film. However, the development in the storyline between Rey and Luke, as classic as it is in other movies, is again done pretty well. The training sequence, the you can feel the fear Luke has for her power, which is again you can feel everything in this movie as if it is happening. That's how well it's been shot. However, you see him how much he fears her power, how much he doesn't actually want to continue training her, and he's genuinely afraid that he'll create another Kylo Ren, and she'll also turn to the dark side. So, and you see in the same regard, you see how much powerful Rey is potentially, and you see how of a badass a female protagonist will be, which is another thing that movies started doing recently. And you see her just how well she develops, and I don't think it was either rushed or too long. The scenes with Luke and Rey, I think they were just enough, and the training sequence, everything, I think it went amazingly. That's the best thing about this movie.
Hmm. Okay, so you like that
That's the thing I like the most. That's the
the
scene I like the most.
most.
Yes.
Okay, well, Uh, again, somehow we have to hold that thought because we have to get back to that. There's some things that I were discussing in the training and all of that, but again, let's continue with what we liked. And what I liked, you can say, is first visually, this movie is freaking amazing. CGI amazing. How things are shot, even from the beginning of the movie, how we saw the camera, going towards from the main titles to the ships. That was super
Yes.
cool, and other things like that that just make the movie more memorable in your mind visually. So that is something that is always important. It's not the main thing, but it's something that it's worth mentioning because it's an art. So I appreciate art a
Yes.
lot. Okay, then that guy, the general, not the general, the blonde guy. What was his name? The movie started with him.
The Imperial guy, like
The annoying guy that was like, second hand of Snoke.
General Huck. General Huck.
Yeah, he's a
Yes.
wuss. Really despise him.
He was the comic relief. Paul Dameron was like mispronouncing his name. The first
Oh,
scene.
that was really cool. I actually love that.
That was amazing.
Yeah, absolutely amazing. So, okay, so he's a wuss. I don't like him. He kind of, I mean, he doesn't really add to the story, to the quality of the movie a lot. So he's a bit useless to me, but I mean, I don't mind him being in the movie, but at the same time, he's not that good of a part, if you know what I mean. Now, Kylo Ren and Rey, their interaction, that was really cool, but it was kind of disappointed that it turned out that Snoke was doing this and not them. That was really annoying to me because I was hoping that they're doing this because there are two special people connected to the Force in their special way, and Kylo is connected to the Force in his negative but very strong way, and the same thing goes for Rey, but that wasn't the case. So that was kind of disappointing, although I should talk about what I liked. But okay. Okay, so I like that Kylo Ren worked out for this movie. I mean, the actor. That shirtless scene that they
Yeah,
showed, that
yeah,
was
that
nothing that special, but but okay, I was like, okay, that's not bad. I mean, I cannot say that he is in a bad shape. And this, I just started to make my fitness estimations, which it doesn't matter, it's just me. Then Ray, I liked Ray. I always liked Ray. In some scenes, she was looking more fluffy. In other scenes, she was looking more lean. Her face looked more fluffy, then more lean. And I mean, what the heck's happening here? I have no idea. But okay.
probably they
Uh,
shot it in different time zones, like in different times, and
she gained weight. She lost weight in her face and neck. I don't know.
probably just gained or lost, like
Uh,
not back and forward.
Never mind that. I'm just saying something that I noticed, but again, it's not that something that I liked. Okay, I like the porks.
Yeah,
I like the
everybody
Jedi
likes.
nuns.
Oh, they were amazing.
They were so funny. And overall, I like Leia. I really love Leia. I love her
Yes.
every time that I
Yeah.
watch a Star Wars movie. I really love to see her and want more of her. I like Poe. I like Finn. I like BB-8. He's amazing. The acting was superb, I think, from everybody. Although a lot of people, tried to give a lot of slack and crap to I'm starting forgetting to forget the names of the actors, but to Ray. Damn it, I forgot her name. Damn it. Anyways,
Anyway,
I mean, yeah, to her. But I don't see that. I mean, she's playing this as well as possibly she possibly can.
no, the acting was superb, and I don't think that anyone who says that the acting was bad has any idea what he's talking about. Sorry if someone's offended, but this was an amazing movie in terms of how much the actors had to put in their characters to make it
Yeah.
look believable, and it's probably been such an excruciatingly difficult job, and to pull that off with such an amazing performance, I don't think anyone has any legit criticism about that.
Yeah, well, a lot of people do for some reason. I mean, always, people are gonna find
Yeah,
something to complain about, but the acting in this movie is great. I don't see what the problem, honestly.
it's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah, you started to, that sound that the mic makes. It's
Again,
appeared again.
and
Yeah.
again,
Yep.
right? So, fuck. Wait.
You can unplug and plug. Sorry, guys, you know how it is live, and I suspect Windows 10 because I had the same problem before with Windows 10.
Do you
No
hear me
matter the
now?
mic. Yes, say
It's
something.
good. I'm saying something.
Okay, that's good.
All right.
Uh, okay, other things that I like, the battles were great. I mean, the ship battles. That battle between, Kylo Ren and, of course, Luke, although he wasn't there, that was great. And the fact that Luke wasn't there was super shocking to me, and I love that. I love how I mean, he did that, but the movie, I mean, how the movie did that, it was super great. I would never have known that, he wasn't there, but it made total sense
Yeah,
because he
yeah.
appeared to Kylo in the same way that he looked before when he was training him. And a lot of people in the movie theater was trying to laugh at this. They were saying like, "Oh, where did Luke got a haircut, and he her not her his hair got darker." And I was like, yeah, yeah, that's probably something that, well, I don't know what it is. We'll see if there is an explanation for that. And the guys were still, laughing next
Mhm.
to me. And then when we find out that he wasn't actually there, it totally made sense because of course that he's gonna appear to Kylo the way that he remembered him. Of course, that's the logical thing to do in many ways. So, okay, that was cool. And you can appear however way you like when it's not actually a material, I think. So he was
Yeah.
able to manipulate that. It makes total sense. And the fact that the Force can do that, that the Force can uh, make able, people to communicate with each other visually um, and to hear each other, all of that is totally totally awesome, and it makes again very much sense because the force is something that is not a material force and therefore should not be uh, contained or restricted from the material distances and all of that. So it makes absolute sense that they could communicate and even experience physical touch, although the physical touch is just going to be like a recreation of actual, physical things. And, the rain, let's say the rain from Kylo Ren's face when he was communicating the third or second time with Rey, that is also making sense to me because that is like a material expression of you can say the force. I mean, the force is creating that connection, and because we have to think that the force is something that comes before the material and is beyond the material, so it can also recreate that because it takes from the essence of that world. I mean, of the place that the other person is, and it just recreates it to the next plane or whatever the other person that is communicating is. So that also was very cool. I get it. Other things that are very cool, well, the way that Kylo Ren killed Snoke. A lot of people are super enraged by that, but I personally don't care about villains in movies. I understand that he is a good villain or something. I mean, we don't really have a perfect picture of him. We don't really know where the heck he's coming from, like from the third ring or something I heard, but
Well,
uh,
that is something actually that is like it's no. This is we can discuss this later. This was one of the disappointments for me.
oh, for you.
Yeah, for me, not the killing. The killing was nice. Like it was done nice and it was then good. And the following scenes afterwards. But the story of Snoke is kind of disappointing to me personally. Even though it doesn't take away from the experience of the movie, it takes away from the experience to the whole story.
Mm. Uh, yeah, maybe. I mean, it's one of those things that, uh, because nobody really dies, anyways. Maybe he can come back if he's that powerful. Why can't he just appear somewhere, yeah, like Yoda does, for instance? But I really like how Kylo Ren killed him because it was very surprising,
Yeah.
and I was very into that moment. Snoke was saying, I know what you're thinking, but he doesn't mean that he sees all of his thoughts. He just means that he sees his intent, that he wants to kill his true enemy, and
Yes.
that is exactly what Kylo's intent was. It's just that he was arrogant enough, like most guys, bad guys are, to think that that is Rey, but it was actually him. So he wasn't wrong to sense what he sensed about Kylo. It's just that he was, I mean, his arrogance. Um, clouded his judgment because he was so like, oh, he will never betray me. I'm this all powerful leader. So he was very into himself and very sure of himself, of course, because he's probably like 200 years old. Who knows how old he is? So he thinks that he knows everything and he can predict Kylo. And in that moment, Kylo was using a bit of the Force to just turn a bit, the lightsaber and turn it on, which for me again I mean, a lot of people are enraged about how he did it and how Snoke wasn't able to sense that. Yeah, we can argue about that, but I do think that because
I can tell you
Snoke.
actually. I can tell you actually how he did that.
Okay, I'm exactly what I'm saying right now, that I do think that because he was so into himself and so sure of himself, he never really saw that Kylo was actually wanting to get rid of him and
Yeah.
just
He's
become the leader.
too focused on other things, to focus on Ray, to focus on to see the satisfaction of seeing his student kill Ray and become fully trained. And he was just like basically not able to sense everything because
Yeah,
he may be powerful, but he's not all powerful.
well, he was a human once, I assume, so he's flawed
I
still.
think he was a humanoid alien. Somewhere, someone had done the research. He's some alien thing, I
Oh,
think. Yeah,
oh.
that's all it said before. Now I know that I don't know. Maybe they updated the story.
Okay, just a second. So, Sand Rising, I mean, our buddy, also wants to say that your sound is cracking again. And I wanted to say that as well, but I just don't wanted to interrupt you because I could understand what you're saying, but it's really crappy now.
What about now?
It's crappy.
Again,
It is.
it is. And now,
It's the same.
ah, the hell!
Yeah.
I don't know what to do.
Yeah, you're gonna have the same effect with every mic that you use. At least we
Hi,
know. Nope.
fuck.
At least we know that it's not from the mic because this is a totally different mic. Before the Hangout, we started with Samsung Meteor mic, which is the one that I use. But since I had this problem before with Windows 10, I do think that it's somehow from Windows 10 because he also here is using Windows 10.
You hear me?
Yeah, but it's the same problem again. It's persisting.
Okay, actually, change it. What about now?
It's the same.
Ah! Wait.
Sorry about that, guys. You know how technical difficulties can be, unexpected ones. I'm just gonna go through the chat real quick. So, hi, Vegeta. Vegeta's 4. Yeah, I mean, RIP Star Wars. Yeah, some people think the same, some people think totally opposite. Nothing really we can do about that. How is it?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, now it's working. Now it's working.
Is it working good or something else?
No, it's perfect. It sounds perfect for now.
Okay, so not doing anything, gonna sit right like that for the rest of the stream.
Yeah, I don't think that that's gonna help, but hope
Anyways,
so.
so
Anyways,
where were we?
you were gonna tell me that Snoke, he was just very into the moment, which is pretty much what I was trying to say.
Yeah, like you see how focused he is about like seeing things, and many people don't understand how this happened because just a bit earlier he just shown how powerful he is by like the scene with Ray, like when she tried to pull her lightsaber with the Force, he just reeled it and made it knock her on the head. Like,
That was funny.
yeah, it was funny, but it also shown how effortlessly he can do that. And a lot of people just can't accept that he didn't know about the lightsaber being pointed to him. But if they look in the other movies, in the previous movies, you can see other instances of that happening as well. Something similar. I can't remember the whole scene. I think it was from episode 2, but there was a scene similar to that one, again against the strong Sith.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, he's not a god, so he's going to be very into his feelings sometimes. Instead of paying attention, because he really doesn't think that such thing could happen. It's kind of ridiculous to
Yes.
die this way if you think about it. So he will never think that that's gonna happen to him. He will not even consider something like that because it's so um no ridiculous.
Well,
Uh,
anyways, other things that we like, because I think we like most of the stuff.
Oh, Leia, yeah, the Leia moment again. A lot of people are giving this moment a lot of slack, but I loved how she was able to use the Force, and I do think that during the time of her, meeting Luke in the very first movies, till now, she had some time to explore that. I mean, we don't know if she trained or not. We have no idea, but I do think that when you have certain abilities, even when you don't practice them a lot, you will get the sense for them. And the Force is all about sensing things and feeling and all of that because it's not a material thing again. So why not, if she is put in this drastic situation, why not unlock something in her that could save her life in that moment? I mean, it's totally logical to me, although she didn't have any prior training as far as we know. That doesn't mean that she can't actually do something with the Force. A lot of people have similar argument with Ray, why Ray can do things where she didn't have any training. Well, it's because some people really do have talent, and that's counting for every freaking ability in the world. I mean, for instance, nobody taught me how to draw and paint. I taught myself entirely, and I had the best grades ever. And I was doing, atomically correct things without knowing that I'm doing them. It's just the sense of it. And a lot of other things. The singing, you can learn how to sing without any help and still sing correctly. A lot of other things in the world. So I don't know why it's so far fetched to believe that Leia or Ray can do something completely out of their talent, sense for the Force, potential for feeling the Force, and maybe Leia is not just this kind of a person to be a physical warrior. She's more like you can say a leader, a strategist, or something like that. I mean, she's not in the field type of a hero, but that doesn't mean that she can't like do something that is completely in her system when it's really counting. Like, for instance, when a person is trapped by a very heavy thing, they can produce this amazing amount of strength and push that thing off of them. That is a medical documented phenomena. Mothers, lifting things out of cars. So out of their kids, cars. You know what I mean? So I don't know why is this such a shock for everybody. Like, oh, why Leia did that? Well, aren't you happy that Leia actually did something
Yeah,
freaking cool?
like I was actually happy that they put that in, because many were afraid that she was left without her heritage, because we know she's a Skywalker. We know that she has the Force, and like this was generally one of the best movies in the movie for me. And I think she did train with Luke, at least a bit, because what she did actually is put a bubble around her, something like a force field, a force field, to to basically case herself against the coldness of the space. and then she pulled her whole self from far away into the ship. That takes skill. That generally takes skill and a focus. So either she trained with Luke, or she trained by herself for a very long time to master at least some aspects of the Force. So now there are some issues in the expanded universe where she's actually a Jedi and she uses a lightsaber as well. We are not going to be seeing that for sure because they're redoing the whole episode 9. Like,
Yeah, it's not canon anymore. Yeah.
no, it's not going to be seen, even if it was, because the actor died, Carrie Fisher died, and they had to redo the first scenes.
Yeah.
So she did. She's, in my opinion, she had some training in the arts. And I again, I share your opinion why people are not happy with that, because that means that she's a true Skywalker. As for Rey, she is something of a prodigy, like Anakin Skywalker was. She's very well versed in the Force, as in has a lot of I don't remember what the cells of the Force, the actual chemical cells of the Force. Medichlorians, yes. She has a lot of those, as Kylo Ren does. So they're prodigies. They're basically like musical prodigies, self-taught. And that's how she has some control and does feel what to do. If you remember in episode 7 when she actually brainwashed one of the guards while she was on the ship.
Oh, so awesome! Have to rewatch it.
She thought, like, she tried it for a few times, it didn't happen, and then she felt what she has to do. And the same here, when Luke started training her, you remember when she was firstly reaching for the Force and he was with the leaf, he was tingling her with yeah, alright, so that was the fail. Second time, she tried it, and she actually reaches deep inside herself and she releases the Force, and you see what happens. The ground starts cracking, stone starts levitating, and Luke is actually scared. So she is a prodigy, a true prodigy.
Yeah, although some people do feel that, her powers are kind of downgraded in this episode. In the previous, she was like more,
Downgraded? Really? I haven't read that.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah, that's one of the other complaints about the movie, that she's a bit downgraded now. So one part of the people are saying, oh, she's a bit downgraded, and the other group of of people are saying, she's a Mary Sue. Come on, I mean,
like, she actually lifted a pile of giant rocks and left them to hang so the rebels can escape in the end of the movie. How is that downgrading?
well,
she's
because
badass.
she couldn't, sense the Force so quickly, and that exact moment where Luke was tingling her with the leaf,
But she wasn't trained. She wasn't trained. She didn't have control. Like that. That's just it. They can remember. Those people who complain about that, they can just rewatch episode 4 and 5 to see how Luke's training started.
Yeah.
It was the same thing. He was again something of a prodigy because he was a Skywalker. So rewatch episode 4 and 5 and tell me what's different about that. Like,
yeah,
the people who complain so much about these things need to rewatch the old movies, because the old movies are full of stuff like that. And I think most of the complainers, they just glorify, they have a glorified picture of the first 3 movies. Like, there's some kind of movie trilogy that it's the holy trinity of sci-fi movies and it's flawless. I rewatched episode 4 and 5 just recently. I was laughing half of the way, like half of the time, because I just, now that I'm older and I see more stuff, I'm not just a little kid who's, yay, let's all say this. And I'm seeing all the flaws, all the wires, if you will, like everything. I can see everything, like all the the bad acting, because there is some bad acting compared to the modern times. It was 80s acting, and you can
Yeah.
just see it. It's still fun. It doesn't take away from the whole concept, because Star Wars is a beautiful idea, beautiful story, and they do it good. There are flaws, yes, but come on. Sorry, I needed to get that out, because I'm I was really pissed when I just saw all those stupid arguments about this movie. Like, there are some legit arguments that we are also going to discuss, but there's so many. I want to say the bull thing, the bull war, but I'm not going to curse.
Okay. Okay, that's very nice. I mean, I do think that uh, a lot of the Star Wars movies. I mean, all the old movies, original movies, they have like a ton of cheese, in them, which is normal for the times. So of course that we cannot expect to have something like that today on the screen, because it will be uh, like ridiculous to see. But back then it was first, it was new, it was awesome because it was first and it was new. And yeah, but now it's totally different. To make a good movie and to recreate the magic from the old movies, it's pretty much impossible. You can do
Yes.
something that feels like that and have, has a lot of sense into it, but you cannot recreate something that it was the first. It's 2017. We've seen a lot of movies like that already, so they are trying. But I do think that it was a mistake to change directors, because J.J. Abrams had the particular vision for Star Wars with Force Awakens, and now he's only producing. So a lot of plot lines are not followed in the sequel. Like Knights of Ren, where those, and I mean other things. I forget how many things there were, but there were some things that were totally not shown in this movie. So
Yeah.
that's one thing. And also, when I think about the story of Luke and why he went there, how he left that map so somebody could find him in
Yeah.
case of need. And now all of a sudden he doesn't want anything to do with his own sister, with the Jedi's, with anything. He just wants to be left alone and die, which actually does not make a lot of sense if you think about it. Why he will, do that with R2D2? Yeah, R2D2, and then like I don't care anymore. Like what and why will he even want to kill his nephew when he wanted to? I mean, he did. Um, you know, re not reinvented, but he made Darth Vader better. He changed him, so to speak. So he did that, but he doesn't want to give two flying, what, about his nephew and trying to change him when he didn't even really do anything. He just sensed that he has the force. I mean the negative force within him, and that Snoke was poisoning his mind, and we didn't really get how the heck was that happening. Nothing about that. So he just decided to kill him, which to a lot of people is not in his character, because he will try to help him, and he is of course his nephew, so why kill him? And yeah, I know that led of course to totally changing Kylo Ren and making him evil. Although again, all that making him evil thing that happened between him and Luke, still for me at least, is not enough to explain why Kylo is evil, why he will want to kill his parents. Okay, he didn't kill his mother, but he did kill his father. So why is he so driven to be to the dark side? Where when he knows the story of Darth Vader, he knows what happened to him, he knows how cancerous the dark force could be, but still he's like, I'm evil. And I have to be evil so bad. I mean, That is what he was showing in The Force Awakens. He was such a wannabe. I so wanna be evil, damn it. And now we see that Luke betrayed him, and he turned evil, but it's just not enough. And why, again, why Luke will do that in the first place? It just doesn't make any sense. And then why going to the island of the Jedi to die still doesn't make any sense, because why leave his sister? I would say like he was ashamed of himself, and that's why he didn't want to show his face. But still, I don't know. It's not enough good of an explanation for me, if you ask me.
In my experience, like first of all, yes, you're right about the Luke wanted to kill Kylo. It didn't make sense because even if Snoke was trying to poison his mind, and at one point Luke telling that Snoke already got him, that would mean that Luke could protect him with his force, with his guidance. He could have done that. He probably did do that, but they didn't explain it, and by not explaining it, they left a lot of people confused. That got me confused as well. However, the thing about what you said, that kind of wanting to be evil in the Force Awakens and making Darth Vader good, that's just Snoke's influence. Like, because Darth Vader, uh, in reality, wanted to have order in the universe, to have a balance and order. He actually, when in the old movies, he invited Luke to rule as father and son and bring order to the universe. So basically, what Snoke did, and it was pretty, like, it wasn't said directly, but you can get the idea, is that Darth Vader has a legacy of bringing order to the universe with the Empire. And Snoke just influenced a prodigy, a very well known Force user who was also a relative of Darth Vader. So, and by twisting his mind, twisting his views like that, he made Darth Vader look better than he actually is. Now, in this movie, you see that Kylo Ren actually has again the idea and the desire to bring order to the universe. After killing Snoke, after killing the Guardians, he wanted to invite Rey and basically just erase the past and create a whole new order of things, like a whole new system, organized government, everything. He just wanted to change everything, to take everything, to destroy all the past things, the Jedi, the Sith, and just start anew, just clean slate. Like he was, I think he was feeling like a god a bit, like because he's so powerful, and because everything he managed to defeat Snoke and the Temple Guards and just bring ruin to all of it.
Okay, yeah, that's true. He wanted to do that, but still in a evil way, the way that Darth Vader
Yes.
wanted to do. So, if he's so influenced, by Snoke, he would not kill him. He would not kill his idol, so to speak. I think that he has his own thoughts and opinions. We just don't know him yet. The way that he talked to Ray, he answered questions with questions. It's just a way of going around a character, but you never really know what he's thinking. You never really know exactly his character. You just know that he's some kind of a very angry guy, that he's so angry. He's like somebody that was never loved, never had a good parents, and that's ridiculous because he did get the best parents in the universe, and I'm sure that they gave him so much love up to that point that he decided to break from them, so they separated, devastated, and all of that. The whole thing, I mean, is not making sense overall, what I mean. So we have those reasons why he wants to rule and how he wants to rule, but we don't really know him and have a legitimate explanation of why he is like that in the first place. Damn it, where
Well,
he has such a great base.
you can make the connection with what happened to Anakin Skywalker, how he turned into Darth Vader. through sheer manipulation to the dark side, through sheer thoughts, speech, mental manipulation from the Emperor, from then Palpatine.
Yeah,
Uh,
but that was only possible because Padme was the key. If she wasn't hurt, Anakin would not have any reasons to turn to the dark side. It was just an irony, because he wanted to protect her. That is why he turned to the dark side. That was his main, reason. But the irony was that she died because he turned to the dark side and actually
exactly,
killed her.
exactly, exactly. And you see here that it is mentioned that Snoke already got to him. So I think that they tried to give us a cliffhanger, just to give us something to feed upon as a story, which possibly and hopefully will be completely revealed in episode 9, when we could expect the final showdown between Rey and Kylo. And I think she'll dwell a bit more into his mind, into his past, and reveal everything, like what Snoke had against him, what exactly Snoke told him to turn him to the dark side, uh, to see how the manipulation process started. I would love to see that. However, you have to like connect these things with a very, very, how should I say, big grain of salt, because it might not happen and it's very vague still, true, but possibly it can happen. The main reason I'm saying this is because you do see that there is some kind of a reason for all of this. He's just not some kid turning bad. You see the premise, what happened, like the Luke's version of the story about attacking him, and Kylo Ren's version of the story. They're both slightly different, happening almost exactly the same, but slightly different. With Kylo's version, Luke wanted to kill him, and Luke's version that he thought to kill him, or thought to do something, but actually in the last moment he decides not to do it. It was all a bit of a misunderstanding.
Yeah, although I do have something here that I was thinking while watching the movie. One thing was if Luke wanted to kill him and not be spotted or something like that, to not to risk waking him up, why not just while he's wandering, just, point it at him and just sit there, like with pointed, lightsaber. And then if he wants to kill him, all he has to do is to turn the lightsaber on and it will just go through him. So why not do
He was
that?
still contemplating on everything. He wanted to do it. He didn't want to do it. He was afraid. Luke was generally afraid. I
Because
don't know.
because he was already the lightsaber was on. And
Yes,
if I am putting myself into his shoes, if I want to kill Kylo Ren, I would be sitting there with the lightsaber and not even turning him on until I'm sure that I want to kill him. Then I'm gonna turn the lightsaber on, just like I said, pointed pointed directly close enough so it can just go through him when I turn it on. So that is just my thing, that he turned it on. He wondered why, or wondered whether or not he would actually strike him. I don't know. That's not like a real world kind of a thing that somebody would do. I think, at least, because one, he's risking when the lightsaber is on, he's risking Kylo to see him. Second, again, he has to be sure, and he wasn't sure at all. He was just standing there like that, like a madman. And and Kylo, when he was betrayed and felt all of those things that he felt, why not just go to his parents and be like, okay, my uncle totally sucks. Look what he did to me, mom and dad, blah blah. Because it is implied that he was just a kid back then, like a teen. But no, he just went with some other children or killed some other children and ran away and went to the dark side without any consideration for his parents. And it seemed like he really loved his parents, or at least that is what it was implied, that he had very good relationship with his parents and he was okay before he turned to the dark side. So if he did, why not just go to his parents and be like, look, mom and dad, this happened, and they'll be like, oh, he's such an ass, we hate him now. And the thing, I mean, all of that would have been avoided if he would have turned to the dark side, you know?
Well, that's like, if you're asking me, that's just a pet peeve, like the whole thing. I don't know if we see more explanation on this. I read something that they could be after this, after 7, 8, 9. They could probably be another 3 movies. I don't know if they're gonna be episodes or there'll be separate stories. I know the Han Solo movies being thought of and prepared for production in the filming. However, in any case, I just episode 9 will have a lot of things to wrap up, to clear out, because we have to we do have to point out that this was the middle movie. This is just the continuation movie, the middle ground, the thing that just ties two ends together. So we have the review from episode 7, and we're going to wait for the conclusion in episode 9. So this movie was particularly hard to make because it needed to continue the story and set up the plot for the next movie, which is amazing, incredibly hard in any trilogy, in any series that is more than one movie. If you follow the story, if you follow a strict story like Lord of the Rings, like Harry Potter, like everything, it's incredibly difficult for middle movies to live up, especially in terms of story, in terms of character development. This is actually the worst part. The character development is the most tedious part in every middle movie, because you can very well just put out some names in the first movie, just show them for 5 minutes, and list them as future main characters. But by the time of the third movie, those characters must be already developed, already people who we connect with, not just random heroes. They have to be developed. We have to know something about them. We have to know their story. We have to know what they are, whether or not we like them. In this movie, in The Last Jedi, they did that considerably well with most of the characters, with with Finn, with Paul Dameron, Rey, Kylo Ren. Those are the characters that were developed very well as the main characters. The character Rose.
Oh boy,
This
Rose.
is this is my huge
Gripe.
no with this movie. Like the whole thing, absolutely the whole thing, from her electrocuting him just right at the end, when she saved him from probably one of the most badass hero sacrifice moments. I was actually expecting, I was gripping my seat and just expecting Finn to plunge himself into that weapon and save the day, sacrifice himself. All right, no more Finn, but that would be the perfect hero end for a great character such as Finn. And suddenly, some girl just comes and saves him and kisses him awkwardly, and
It was kind of weird, to say the least.
to say the least, that was like, this was the biggest. I
It was
cannot
like
use.
waiting, climax waiting to happen. And
Thank you for sugarcoating my words. Yes.
oh, by the way, just hold that thought somehow, but you have to address a bit of the comments after all.
yeah. I'm reading them as well.
Oh, it's very funny. So, do you think Luke seeing Kylo wake up and see him about to kill him frightened him enough to back off?
Probably yes, because you actually saw Luke when he explained. He just saw him when he opened his eyes, when Kylo Ren opened his eyes, and Luke says it was just a frightened boy, a frightened young boy I was contemplating on killing.
Yeah, basically.
So basically that's what happened, and Kylo Ren in his fear thought that he would kill him. and defending himself. This is just a defender, and probably now that comes to mind, Luke was probably the main catalyst for Kylo Ren going to Snoke in the end, like fully succumbing to Snoke, because Snoke was probably feeding him lies about how he'll be betrayed, he'll be killed, or anything, etc., etc., etc. And seeing your mentor and your master and your uncle just uh, being above you with a lightsaber, you get frightened that, oh my god, he was right, and he defends
Yeah.
himself, escapes, and goes to Snoke, and you were right. And Snoke, yeah, I was right. Come to me. Let me teach you.
Actually, that makes now a lot of sense, but the issue is that we never saw any explanation about that in the movie. But it's a very good explanation, nevertheless. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
satisfied with that one. Yeah, definitely,
So
I can see that happening.
so
Yeah.
so probably the just simply of a psychological fact, if that would have happened to me.
The irony is that the same thing that his father did, Luke did here as well. The same thing that I just mentioned about, Anakin joining the dark side because of Padme, because of fear that something is going to happen to her. Well, the same
Yes.
thing is, you know, Luke did. He was doing something with the fear that the dark side is gonna build up in this boy, and he's gonna become like a tyrant and very powerful Sith or something. And his actions out of fear led to this boy becoming
Yes.
the exact thing that Luke was afraid of. So again, he's doing the same mistake that his father did, which is, wow, I just realized that.
And
What
now,
irony
now I,
again.
I remember the very memorable words of Master Yoda in the fifth movie. Fear is the path to the dark side. Fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hate. Hate leads to suffering.
Yeah.
This is basically what Master Yoda said, and it is just shown here. So again, you cannot tell me that this is not truthful to the movie, to the original movies, because they gather so much from it and just do it, honor it in so many ways. Like Master Yoda, I don't know if you noticed,
Hmm?
but there was a mix of CGI and puppet with Master Yoda.
Oh yes, I was like,
This
wow,
was
this
the
is
this was the
puppet.
original puppet, by the way. I remember it because I know the back of his head, how it looks like.
Oh
And
boy.
when he turned that, yeah, and the hunchback is the same. Like this was either the same puppet or the another puppet made in the same way.
Oh, I
Which,
think, yeah, I think you're right. I mean, it is a puppet, and the only CGI thing over it was just the light, I think. But yeah, it could be the original, it could be a new one, but
yeah.
it is meant to represent the original.
And also one other thing that did a great service to the old movies. R2D2, when he was showing that old recording of young Princess Leia about Obi-Wan Kenobi. Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi, you're my only hope. The recording
Yeah.
that's like, these are so many the references to the classics. So this it's so much love showing to the classics, and not just showing them that they're there to do the fan service and to do the honor of the old movies, but they're tying them into the story as the means to move the plot. So you cannot get more into the whole universe, aside from that.
Yeah, I do think that now, come to think of it, now because we are, discussing it and thinking about it, we are discovering some things that previously we didn't really thought of. And you're right that they did pay some respects to the old movies, although people, I think that to some people, this just, went totally above their heads,
or,
unfortunately.
or, or they or they understood it in the other way, like, how dare you use this when you're not doing a good movie. uh, Everybody can argue about anything, you know that. Everybody can find some flaws in everything, but it's not the flaws, it's the overall experience. And this movie this have a lot of flaws, but overall it doesn't matter. None of those flaws take away from the overall excitement that this is indeed Star Wars. and it's indeed awesome.
It is awesome, because like I had a lot of problems with some Marvel movies, as you know, they just I just forget about them
Oh yeah,
totally.
oh yeah. I
So
have the same
forgettable.
problem.
Watch them being very happy when I see them first time, like me and you went and saw, Guardians of the Galaxy 2 together, and it was a fun time, great time, but I went back here and I was like, what did I see? I forgot, damn it.
Yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy 2 was just what everyone wanted it to be. Light, just a light movie, like to to continue some story and have a lot of laughs. It was way over the top, but in Guardians of the Galaxy depends on what you expect. What would you expect? Like, I'm just gonna make a quick reference to the Deadpool 2 that is coming out. I will go to that movie with a lot of expectations. I will go to that movie with the expectations that it will be everything the first movie was, plus something on top, which is even more degrading and disturbing because this movie was everything that cinemas would have hated to have 10 years ago, and it's one of the highest grossing movies of all time.
Yeah. By the way, dear Pudding, if you like when I'm speaking, you can unplug and plug your mic in those moments, so we can have a refresh mic, because the problem is,
All right. Yeah.
ongoing all the
Yeah.
time, almost. Okay, so I'm just gonna actually wait for him to do that.
Can
Okay,
you
can
hear
you
me
hear
now?
me?
Yeah, good.
Uh, no, it's bad. It's bad again. That didn't help, actually.
Just a second.
Okay. Okay, at least you can hear me. So, at one point, the
Can you
movie,
hear me?
yes, but it's the problem again.
Is it again
Yeah,
bad or just not loud?
it's worse now. It's worse. It's
Okay.
worse.
All right. It's now.
Oh, very good.
Yeah. Okay. I'm
Okay,
finding new and new ways to hack the system.
hopefully. Okay, so my point was that this movie, like I said, at times really felt like Guardians of the Galaxy, which I didn't like because I don't want an empty humor. And a lot of times it just felt very charming humor and awesome. So that's okay, but I just don't want this to feel like Guardians of the Galaxy, because Guardians of the Galaxy, it is what it is, and it's not Star Wars, and I just want, Star Wars. So between Force Awakens, and by the way, we totally forgot about Rogue One. I feel that the perfect movie, at least for me, is somewhere between Rogue One as a feeling, as a way of doing things, and Episode 7. So I really
I
love those
haven't,
two.
by the way, still haven't watched it, and I refuse to watch it.
Really?
Yeah.
Rogue
I
One, you haven't?
I refuse to, like, I don't want, I don't know what it is. I just don't want to watch it.
Why?
I don't know. Like, don't let, this is something I can honestly not answer you with a logical explanation. I just don't want to watch that movie.
Oh
I like the
boy, but
trailer.
it's
I
so
like the
awesome.
trailers, and I actually went. I think I reviewed one of the trailers, and I said that I'm gonna watch it. I don't want to watch it. I don't know why. I just don't want to watch it.
Oh boy,
I'm probably
Pudding.
gonna watch it at one point.
Oh, now it's fixed.
Uh,
The mic.
oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
now it's fixed, but it was
It
very
is.
bad. Yeah, and it's worse again, it's good again, it's worse again. That's all the time.
Let me try something now.
It's bad.
Now.
It's bad.
Now.
It's bad.
Now.
It is really bad. I mean,
Now.
no, it's nothing to do with the hardware, if you ask me.
Wait. Tell me if it is fixed at
No,
any
no,
point.
no.
God damn it.
Yeah, now it's fixed.
It is?
Yeah, now it is. Sorry, guys,
Okay.
again. I'm
I
almost
think
sure.
I think it's something from the hardware. I don't know.
No, it cannot be from the hardware. It just cannot be. I would have known,
In
since
any
having this
case,
problem. Okay, so sorry again about that, guys. But we are gonna
sorry.
try to fix this for next time. But we are stuck with this problem, and we have a lot more things, or at least some things more to discuss. There's a very funny comment here. I just listed every planet and star system in the unknown regions for Star Wars book that I will make. Okay, good luck with that.
All right,
Uh,
good.
yeah. Okay, so what was something very worth mentioning? So, oh yeah, Rogue One. So, I mean, in my opinion, because this is like prequel to the prequels or something like that, you
Which
know?
Rogue One?
Yeah, and it's
Pre-
so amazing.
it's
Like
prequel to the original and sequel to the prequels.
sequel to the prequels.
It's after Episode 3,
Mm.
like Revenge of the Sith,
Oh yeah, yeah. It's just
but it's
before
before,
they get the plans.
before Episode 4. So it's basically between 3 and 4, between the original 3 and the prequels. So it's
Yeah,
a
yeah.
sequel to the prequels and prequel to the sequels.
But the first
My
movies, the original movies.
yes,
Yeah, but it's very awesome to see how they got the plans to, destroy the Death Star, and their characters are amazing. I mean, I really love them personally, and you see Darth Vader, and it's so freaking awesome. And I mean, the movie has this feeling of a lot of substance. I mean, it's a solid movie. It's not. I mean, The Force Awakens for me is more light and kind of more fun and a bit more upbeat, you can say. And this is more dirty, gritty, kind of a serious movie. It has very serious consequences and all of that. And it's just a very solid film. Very solid film. So you do
I
yourself a favor if you see it.
I trust you. As I said, I do not have any logical explanation about that. About why I refuse to watch it. I have tried downloading it, and it's something stops me.
Well,
It's the same with the Justice League movie. I could have watched it already. I still haven't.
oh
I don't
damn it.
know.
I have to come by then. I have to
Yeah,
come by. We have to
why?
watch.
Why? So you want to tie me to a chair and force me to watch it?
Yeah.
All right.
I'm gonna bring my weights so I can put the weights on you so you can move.
Okay, I'm genuinely afraid now.
I can also tie you with my
Help!
new straps
Help! Help! Oi, you
for the
people watching,
gymnastic
help
rings
me!
that I just got.
I have
Uh,
witnesses. We have 6 people watching. I have witnesses.
yeah, I'm gonna tie my dear friend Pudding here to the chair and force him watch 2 movies with me. That's gonna be awesome. uh,
Bye.
okay. Okay, so it's almost 11 at night, so we better think of something that we missed because I'm sure that there's a lot of that. Okay, so how do you feel about the death of Luke?
The death of Luke. So I was going to talk about this thing before when you were explaining about how he's like a force manifestation, and when you told you a bit about the force being able to produce physical manifestations. Yes, it can. We've seen it can. It's an amazing development. However, you just see how, like, first of all, if you remember Ray when she was sensing stuff the first time, she said one very important thing, that she doesn't sense anything from him. He cut himself out of the force,
Mm-hmm.
hid himself completely. All right, so he's been gone for 30 years. Was it 30 years? Yes, around 30 years.
Really? 30
Yeah, like
years.
yeah, 30 years. They mentioned it in the Force Awakens that
30
he's been me.
years before,
Yes.
after Kylo, that's impossible because he's still young, Kylo. I think it's about like 10 maybe.
No.
because Kylo is still young and he was a teen, so there should be like maybe 10 years or something. 30 years is absurd because Kylo would have been also, not that young. Like he would be like 40 or 45 or something by now.
Wait. Ah, it's 30 years after the defeat of the Galactic Empire. Sorry. Yes, my,
Yeah,
my
yeah,
mistake. All
yeah.
right, so let's say 10 years. All right, 10 years.
Okay.
So 10 years without the Force. He's not doing anything. He doesn't practice. He doesn't hone his skills. He doesn't even like sustain his skills. He's just cut himself away completely. So he suddenly comes back to it all. We see him going back to it, like feeling like connecting with the Force again, and just see how strong he is. Like what the favorite thing in this movie is when everybody's firing at him, and he just goes like this. This is
Yeah.
this is
But,
this is the best thing ever.
yes, but of course we know that because he's not there really, and
Yeah,
he can
but
do
yeah, but
whatever
come
he
on.
wants.
Yeah, but come on, like we didn't know that when he first appeared. Like it was just so awesome. I actually thought he made something like a force shield to
Yeah, me
protect him,
too.
but it was the most badass thing ever. And it was such a provocation, like such a provocative move against Kylo Ren. Anyways, so they fight. You see the connection. You see everything. But this is something that takes a lot of toll on the mind and the body. And you see Luke meditating and just being so in there. Like there was sword clashings, there was everything, like
Yeah.
full physical contact. So this takes a toll on people, like on when you practice the force. No matter how open-minded you are, no matter how into the force you are, this will take a great toll on your mind. And he continued to do that for a very long time, for an amazing amount of time, and throughout like a great distance of space. So if we think logically, the farther you are and the longer and the more physically you have to appear, the more toll that takes on the mind. And he did that. So basically he
On
was
the
just
body, on the body, not
on the
on the
yeah,
body.
on the
Yeah,
body and the
because
mind.
such
Yeah,
force has to be contained in a physical vessel, and that vessel should be very durable. Otherwise, it's gonna fall apart, like actually
yeah,
happened.
exactly. And for me, it wasn't it wasn't the best death. Like he could have survived another movie. However, it wasn't bad either because we see how tired he was, how exhausted he was from all of this, and how he basically used the last of his strength to give a chance to the resistance and to Rey to escape and for his sister to escape. So I think that it was done good. I would have been happier if he was in episode 9 as well. He might be, but as a force ghost, not as a physical being. But
Yeah, I'm just happy that Kylo didn't kill him. I mean, some
yeah,
people say that he did, but he did not because
no, no,
this
he doesn't.
was Luke's doing. He knew that he's gonna expend too much energy that probably will kill him, but he's gonna do it anyway. So he did. He made the decision and he did that. Kylo did not defeat him uh, in any way, and Kylo is not able to do such things. In this point. So Luke is still the stronger Jedi here.
I just want to mention something that all these technical problems that I'm having are actually working into the movie's favors. This guy Vegeta S4 is actually giving the movies a second chance. So yeah, for my
Yeah.
busted mic, we have another fan of Star Wars because of my busted mic. I think J.J. Abrams and the whole crew should actually pay me something for that.
Well, if you, I know it's a lot of work, but I'm pretty sure that if you change your windows, everything's gonna be fine and dandy.
We shall see. I'm gonna go to
Yeah.
okay. I'm gonna go to Ubuntu then.
Yeah. Not sure how that's gonna work out for you about
It's not.
everything
It's
that you
not.
have on your PC.
It's not.
Okay, so I'm pretty sure we're missing something because I had a lot of things that they want to discuss. Oh yeah, like for instance, what the hell are they going to do with Leia because she's still alive in the universe, and we know that they're not gonna bring her back with CGI. And second, I'm really bummed out about how Captain Phasma ended because we
Yeah,
were promised that we are gonna see more of Gwendolyn Christie, but we did see nothing again because she was just, killed off. And that's the end of her. We never even saw her damn face, only her eye. So anybody could have been in that costume and she could just
that
voice
is
act it.
yes, that is
Ridiculous.
something that irked me very much because for you get one of the most famous actors in TV series at the moment. You get her to play this special character who is with a special armor, with everything special, who is a badass commander, and not once but twice you just that's shaming, that's character shaming. I mean, granted, they had the fight. Now it was a good fight, but it was a short fight. And the ending, the how she just died and fell. Come on,
Well,
they could have done a lot better than that. I mean, I can think of 10 or 15 ways in which they would have done it better. Sorry, this was again. It doesn't take away from my excitement of the movie one bit. However, in and out of itself, as a individual scene, it was stupid.
oh, yes, very stupid.
However, I do want to mention the absolute best scene. I mean, the most badass scene, the thing that actually made my jaw drop. I mentioned it in my video, but I couldn't say it because it was not. But the Vice Admiral, Holdo, yes, when she jumped into hyperspace and just slashed through the entire Empire fleet.
Oh, that was so
That was
awesome.
that was the absolute best scene in movie history for me. Like there is this reviewer, Jeremy Johns. I don't know
Of
if you know
course.
who he.
Of
Yes,
course.
he was actually in his review because they see the movie earlier than us.
Oh, yeah.
They see it a few days. He just said that there is a scene that will make you simply your jaw drop, you grip into it, you just stare in awe. This was the scene. I know this was the scene because this was so badass. Like just and how it was made black and white with the shining and the shadows and everything. It was so nice, so nice.
Yeah, like 10 super huge samurai swords,
Exactly, exactly,
cutting through the ships.
exactly. And
Ah,
complete silence about everything. Like silence, and just then the explosion, like as it happens, and you just see the total destruction that this sacrifice made, and you realize that you hated her like throughout the movie because she was very vague, she was very pompous, she was like, "Oh, flight boy, you're the flight boy," and suddenly she makes that sacrifice. Just she just yeah, fuck you, I'm gonna
yeah.
do that. And she's like, wow, I love
And
her.
yeah, and it also turned out that she did have a plan. It's just that she should have
Yes,
told Paul,
yes,
but she was like, "Yeah, this guy, he's a hot shot. I'm not gonna tell him anything. He's being so arrogant lately and not listening to Leia, so I'm just gonna be a bitch about this and you
yeah.
know,
That was the one
grumpy."
of yeah, that was the miss on the plot line, but again, it was amazing. Sorry, I'm just picturing that scene again in my head. It's so fucking amazing. So,
Oh, absolutely. And one other thing that actually a lot of people brought up that I can think of is, that Asian girl that dropped the bombs. How did that happen physically?
because in
Because
space,
yeah, because it was in space, and I always thought, even watching the movie, I'm like, well, okay, there's a vacuum of space. It should have sucked all the air out of there, and she should be dead. but I thought that there's some kind of a system, that will create atmosphere just before the entrance start, or just where the entrance is, and then after that is just space. And the same thing where we see ships flying in and out on those big I forgot, landing places in the big ships, of the empire, how they are flying in and out and people are walking around there, and it's the same thing. I do think that's a force field that is protecting them and creating an
Yes,
atmosphere. So
exactly,
that's
exactly. And as for the bombs, I think they have small propellers on them that push them down because otherwise they would just float. And they push them down, or they have something like a magnetic device that senses the ship below
hmm
and pulls them towards the ships or something like that. We can go with a lot of theories about how it can happen. We've seen a lot of stuff in sci-fi movies that already they can propel it. They can just go there like self-pointing bombs. Uh, there are little things that could happen. I don't think they needed to explain that because they were actually aiming for a badass scene, for a nice scene that shows sacrifice, shows consequences, but actually also shows that you can. It's something that people thought it was not achievable. The destruction of a dreadnought ship, and it was possible, and you see the consequences. So basically, they were aiming for the following stuff after this scene. So this scene, I don't think they needed to explain how it happened. It's nitpicking. Yes, you can argue that it's not done realistically if because nothing is not explained how the bombs go. But do you care? You still dread not being blown up.
Yeah, that's, it was more about the atmosphere than the technology that allowed the bombs to fall
Yeah.
on the ship like there's gravity.
Yeah, it's probably some miniature force field that just keeps the air in and doesn't allow for it to be stepped out. So, oh, good.
Yeah. You can do something to the mic if you like, and plug something,
Yeah.
while I'm talking about Rose and Finn. So a lot of
All right.
people think that this storyline is useless, and I said in my
Yes.
review that I got it after a time. Why? I mean, the purpose of it. There's a message there, but really, it was a bit like a fluff to the movie. I did get the messages and all of that, but I didn't feel that this was the place for this relationship to be on screen. And Rose is a character was kind of annoying to me, to be honest. When she zapped him, I was like, okay, she's impulsive, and she is a fan of him. Okay, I can see that. Then they started, doing all of those things together, going on that planet with the casino, and that casino reminded me of the old movies. And I was like, yeah, this is feeling like Star Wars, just more shiny and polished, but it feels like the old movies. But then I remember that I never really liked the scenes where you see a tavern and creatures in the tavern. I mean, I never liked that. It's like a world building element, but it's just not, my thing. It was kind of cheesy for me. Then we saw that with the animals, how they have to free them, and then at the end of the movie, that kid with the broom. And okay, everybody can be a Jedi. That's another point that we have to discuss, and race totally useless lineage and all of that, and whether or not that's good or bad. But Paul, and not Paul, Finn and Rose, and how she saved him. I mean, I don't want him to die, but that was so freaking cheesy and
Mm.
weird. Their relationship, I mean, it's weird, and it's out of place. And
Yes,
yeah,
it is. It is completely. I agree. But what do you want? Like, I'm just gonna add this scene. If it was, let's say, cut in half, in time. The whole sequence of the casino and everything, it was going to be pretty good, like
Yeah,
and more meaningful, if it,
yeah, it's
or remade into something different totally.
totally different. Yeah, if there's some kind of a other story, something that Finn has to do, but not with a character like Rose,
No,
like
no, no, no,
with
no.
someone else.
Imagine if Rose was a hacker and he had to get her on the ship instead of going to the planet. That was,
That makes a lot more
yeah,
sense.
that would have been better, and close interaction between those two would have built a much better premise for a relationship.
Yeah, because finding out that Benicio del Toro's guy was inside guy, you know, or I mean
No,
that was actually kind of vague as well. Whether or not he's working for the Empire, he did have a uniform, so that means that he's working for the Empire. But how will he know that they're there so he can capture them and double cross them? And just don't get it.
that was, yeah, that was absolutely stupid. And the guy that they were supposed to go looking for just went on the screen for 10 seconds, and that was it. Which is, you spend that much time to see the old granny that was fighting, explain what kind of a perfect man he is and what he can do and how well he can do it. You see him for 10 seconds and you go and you take someone else. Like this was the stupid scene. This was the stupid arc of the movie. Uh,
Well, because they were desperate and they just wanted to get someone, and he had a ship and he saved them because they
you
were
know what
chased.
you know what I would have liked,
Hmm?
because you talked about, mentioned the kid at the end, which I personally loved, that little Easter egg, or that little feed. I would have loved if we have seen this happen during not Paul, Finn's visit to the planet, to see the little kid just do something with the Force.
Mm, that's another thing, but then they have to give the kid more of a backstory, and then we're gonna have a movie about the kid probably. Because if we don't, then it's going to be totally useless.
Yeah. What
Yeah.
what did you want to talk about, kid?
Ah, the kid with the broom. Yeah, some people said that this was like Anakin or something. I was like, what? What is Anakin having to do with the kid? I just don't see the connection there. But that was actually,
No.
yeah, that was made because the movie wanted to say that everybody can be a Jedi and the Force is moving in mysterious ways and more people can possess it and be more talented with it. Okay, but I don't know if I prefer you know Ray to be just somebody that is nobody and coming from
Yeah.
nothing, or I mean I would have preferred for her to be like Luke's daughter, and then Kylo to be, of course, he is not Rhea, Leia's son. So if they were like cousins, for me that's gonna be a better story.
I would have loved if they were at least mentioned, like like what they are. They could have been everyone, even from the old cast. They could have been uh some rebels. She could have been the child of some escaped Jedi. Like I just when Kylo Ren told her who her parents is, the whole room, the whole hall in the cinema was like, "What? Come on!" Like this was
Yeah.
weak. This was weak. Uh, I I'm no, I'm listing it as bad thing, and it was bad. Uh, I I wanted more from that particular plot. I wanted more, and I don't know why they decided to do it. Maybe because they didn't want to um, deal with developing parent characters for Ray, for just telling their story as well. Maybe they ran out of ideas.
Well, if she was Luke's daughter, that could have taken the movie and Star Wars as a whole in a whole new direction that will have a lot more depth to it and potential for storytelling. You know, how Luke had her, with whom, and then what happened there, why she's left on that planet. And I think that that's going to be a very compelling story, but they decided instead to go with, well, everybody can be a Jedi, everybody can have this force. Nobody knows where the force is going to leave its mark and who's gonna be the next chosen one. Okay, that can still be somehow incorporated in the
Yeah,
story,
it
and we
was.
can still have her be, Luke's daughter, because nobody knows why Luke. I mean, not Luke, but not. I mean, everything starts with Darth Vader, Anakin. Why he was the way that he was, but he was. So we already know that the Force moves in mysterious ways, and everybody can become, like a Jedi or a Sith, and uh, I think I forgot my line of thought, but basically, I wanted to say that I think, as far as I remember, Anakin was a boy from a village,
He
and
was born to a slave mother. Uh, he doesn't have a father. The Force made him.
really,
Yeah, he's Jesus.
really,
Really? That's what it's explained in the first movie. He doesn't have a father. The Force is his father, and his mother is a slave. Was a slave woman in on Tatooine.
hmm, that's interesting. Really, I seen the first. I mean,
He's
episode
he,
one.
he's the savior. He's Jesus Jedi Jesus.
Hmm. So he's
I think he had a father in the expanded universe, but I'll be lying if I say I knew. I could research that at one point, but in any case, he's a force baby, basically.
wow.
Yeah,
I don't know how I missed that.
well, this was a irritating plot to me when I watched the episode one, because it was like the force works in a mysterious way, and I was like, religious too much. I know that like the Jedi is basically, the force is a religion in that universe. It's basically the teachings of a form of religion, but it was too, for me, too not good. It
Far
wasn't
fetched,
good.
you mean?
No, not far-fetched, just stupidly done and lazy.
Hmm. That's very.
Because if he had a
Yeah.
no, because look, if he had a father and it was revealed that his father was a Sith Lord, then we would have a better premise of why he would turn to the dark side as well, not just
Oh.
Padme.
Well, if they're gonna take something that we have in our world as a story, at least like make it correctly, because you do need to have the material elements there for a baby to be created. You can't just pop it out from nothing and just put it in the woman without. I mean,
Exactly.
it's
Exactly.
actually.
Exactly.
I messed this up very, very, very a lot, very much. No, I meant that. I meant that. Um, it's what it says that happened in the Bible, but it actually. I'm gonna. I'm gonna get into real deep waters, but
Yeah.
let's just say that there's supposed to be something else that. I mean, real parents to people, and this is still the process, but you still need the man, basically. uh, I totally messed this up. I wanted to say something else to explain it in a different way, but that contradicts what I wanted to say, so scratch that. Okay, so I'm just gonna accept that he does not have a material person father.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so we still have the thing where the force works in mysterious ways. we still have the thing where anybody can become a Jedi because his mother was just a slave, and he was created there and not from a not he's not the son of a king. I mean, he's not the son of a queen, more like it, or something like that, of an emperor or whatever. So we do know that this is possible. Then he starts this lineage of Skywalkers that, of course, they are very powerful, which makes sense. But that doesn't mean that a new lineage could not be started with a new family somewhere. Okay. And then
Okay.
why not just make a, you know, I don't know. It's nuts. It's getting
However,
too deep and too messy.
however, you
Plug and plug, Mike.
ah!
It's terrible now.
Now,
Perfect.
however you decide to do it, however you decide to like think of Ray's parents, it would everything was actually still going to be better than that, than what they did. Everything, absolutely everything. Yeah, slave traders, but like I think that they were actually something like this. He was a gambling man or something. I don't remember what Kyle said because I was a little bit angry at the moment.
Two drunk people that just want to drink and something like that. And they sold her off so they can
Yeah,
be drunk.
okay. So this whole thing that Ray comes from nothing will like, and she's nothing, is a bit. You can twist it in a good direction, like uh, a good light, because if you think about, there's a lot of present day issues that are discussed in the movie, like racial status, everything. Uh, in the movie, they're inserted as a plot. Like actually Benicio del Toro's line that there is no good or bad, that everything is just a big machine, is a very nice touch on the real world. So the thing that Ray comes from nothing and it is nothing, what Kylo Ren said, but she's still managing to be a great Jedi, a resistance fighter, and everything. So basically, she makes her own destiny. This is can be motivational. However, I wasn't looking for motivational speeches with people who eat porks for meals.
This
So
works.
yes, so what I was looking at was story in this particular regard. I was wondering about Ray because we got introduced to her as something absolutely extraordinary. Absolutely, like by the end of the Force Awakens, she was the most badass character of all.
Yeah.
So to simply give her such a lazy
Background
lineage,
story.
yeah, background story and lineage is something that needs to be fixed, and I just do hope that they fix it in episode 9, that they will reveal something more about her parents, and probably did disown what's happening, what Kylo Ren said, like just disregard it or mark it as him lying. They can do that easily. But in that regard, the scene in the cave, if you remember it, when she was reaching at the mirror, that mirror that multiplied her,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, and we were actually just about to see her parents, and by the figures, when I saw the figures,
I was
one of
like
them,
Leia or
no,
Luke.
no, 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 one of the figures was very tall, and I was like, Snoke, and I was like, if it's Snoke, I would have been like screaming of joy because it would have fit amazingly.
Yeah.
It,
That's good.
well, it would have fit very, very nicely because first, Kylo Ren is the son of two rebels, like of Leia, who's a Skywalker, and Han Solo, and he turns bad. And Rey is good, and she's the daughter of Snoke, who's bad.
Yeah,
And in addition, it would have given Snoke a plausible, very nice background as her father. So we would see more of him. We would see probably how he turned to the dark side in the first place. We would see who he is, what he is, and it would have been amazing.
yeah.
That would have been one of the best plot lines ever.
I agree. I agree. That's very high potential plot line.
Yes, and they missed it,
Mm.
which bummed me out. But again, anything that I said in this stream is doesn't take away from the fact that this was an amazing movie. I just need to say it again because I did say a lot of negative things, and this movie, as any movie, has a lot of things that they could have done better.
Yeah. Okay. So I think we should finish everything up. You can plug and unplug again. In the meantime, there's a lot of things, guys, that we could say and that we could miss. Unfortunately, it's very late where we are, so we should end this discussion. Unfortunately, but it's really late, and we have to get up and prepare for Christmas
Oh
tomorrow.
yeah.
A lot of Christmas shopping to do. So I'm just gonna say that I should probably rewatch The Force Awakens, and then after this movie, so I can maybe connect things. Although I do know that a lot of things are disconnected, but yes, there's gonna be a really good. I mean, there was going to be a very good plot line if what Hazel just said was real, but it's not. And also, one guy or a girl commented under Angry Joe's review that it was gonna be amazing if uh, let's say the force, because it's a very powerful thing, and when you're so powerful, it degrades your flesh with time, and you need more durable body so you can switch bodies, basically look for a better
Yeah.
vessel, or just wait for somebody to be born with a better, stronger body so he can inhabit that. So he's basically saying that the force could work also in that way, and that's why Snoke is so disgustingly, you can say, even, yeah, I mean, he's basically like a corpse or something, like a mummy. He looks like that, yeah. So that's one thing that some people are saying, like an idea. And I do think that people and fans in general have a lot of ideas about the Force, and they know the material better than the movie creators. And again, I heard that J.J. Abrams is going to come back for the third movie, and then
Oh.
after this third movie, we're gonna have a totally new story with another three movies. So basically, this is a three-movie saga, and then we're gonna have three more, and maybe we're not gonna see Ray anymore after this last movie, which I'm
I
kind of bummed
think
about.
that this is going to be bad. The J.J. Abrams returning.
Oh, I do think that he is very good with these movies because he did a very good
Yeah,
Star
but
Trek movie as well.
the thing that, like, when he wasn't here for this movie and he was going to be here for the next as well, he was here for the first movie. This is I think this is good. I hope it doesn't mess things up.
I'm pretty sure that maybe he's gonna come back because he has to tie in the things that he started in The Force Awakens
Yeah,
that,
yeah,
that
he
were
needs to.
never explained in this movie. So I think that's important. And he is a producer on this one, but the producer is not, like the main guy or something like that.
Yeah.
He's not at all. He's just, you can say, watching the movie over it like this, from afar, but he's not so directly involved. It's all about the director and the script and all of that. So yeah, I do think that maybe it's gonna be very good if he returns, so we can have hopefully all those plot holes filled, and everything could be maybe come full circle, and we are up for a very amazing thing. Hopefully, although a lot of people are already like, nah, I'm done with Star Wars. But I am not done with Star Wars, and I want to see where this goes. So
Yeah,
that's
we
it.
need to see where it goes.
Yeah, so if you want to say something for ending,
Yeah, but well,
plug
I
and plug. Damn it.
again.
Yeah, it was perfect right up till now. I
Yeah,
cannot hear you. Okay, I can. I can.
you can.
Hmm,
All right,
hmm.
it's good.
It's perfect.
I'm slightly touching the cable,
Hmm.
and it goes berserk.
Well,
And
it's just it's more like a coincidence if you ask me. It was similar with me, but then
I hope. Okay, so
yeah,
what I wanted to quickly just say that you people who criticize this movie to the extent of hating it and saying that the like just going to the extent that want to remove this from the canon, want to saying that Star Wars is that, please rewatch the previous movies again and try to have a bit of an open mind, because you
like a
cannot
perspective.
yeah,
Yeah.
like you cannot expect everything to be the same. The point of a movie series, the point of every movie series, is to evolve in a direction, to change, to be subject to new development, new ways of filming, new even style of filming, as with this one, with the comedy and everything. So even though every movie has flaws, every movie has some problems. This is definitely, in my opinion, is not a movie that has the flaws that you think it does have. This movie is different. Yes, it's different from the previous Star Wars, but it does not mean that it's not Star Wars. It doesn't mean that it tarnishes the reputation of Star Wars. It doesn't mean that it spits on the image of Star Wars. Quite the contrary, it continues a legacy with different styling, with evolved effects, action scenes, type of filming, character development, and everything. And what you can do is just see it for what it is, for an independent movie, because these are
It's
not
a
the
new
previous movies.
trilogy. It's a new
Yes,
trilogy.
it's a new trilogy. It's a whole new way a take of things. It's like watching the 60s Star Trek, the first Star Trek, and watching Star Trek Enterprise, which is from the 2005 or 6, and bashing on that. It doesn't work that way. It's a new movie. It's a new type of movie. So view it as what it is, not as what you wish it was 30 years ago.
Yeah, it could be a lot of things story wise. They could do a lot of things differently, like you said, like I said, but I just hope that they're gonna wrap things up real good in the third movie, and if they did, maybe all of this is gonna be justified. That now it does not make sense, but
Yes,
maybe it will. I really hope so because they are hearing what the people are saying. They are aware. I hope of the complaints and the logical inconsistencies and all of that. So hopefully they're gonna do something about that. So
I
that
hope
is
to.
it, guys. Of course. So after all, we did not differ that much at all. We always, think about things and dissect them, and we come up with new things. So
And
that's
we
good.
smashed into little tiny bits.
Yeah, that's a very good, thinking and discussing process. So that is, guys, we have to prepare for the holidays, as we said.
Oh yes.
In the next few days, I don't know how busy I'm gonna be, but of course, friends and family time, buying gifts time, if I can, because tomorrow is a day that is not any day, just a shopping day. If I can, I'm gonna make a gaming stream probably, and then we see what the heck it comes out that I can cover. But I will probably at least take 2 days off because it's freaking Christmas, and then between New Year and like the 1st and the 2nd of January, I will probably definitely will not be here. But again, holidays and I'm just not gonna be able to film anything probably. So just so you know, guys, and thank you to dear disgustings here for this amazing hangout, and we're gonna look into those mic problems or next time. But thank you very much, guys, for watching. You can leave your comments down below about what you think about Star Wars and what we discussed here in this hangout.
Thank you very much for joining us, and for me as well. If you're gonna visit my channel, I'm gonna try to reinstate uploading because I've been a bit behind, a lot behind ever since I've been back. So I'm gonna try to do some stuff for you. I'll be free throughout the whole week after 24th, so you can expect some stuff from me as well.
Yeah, guys, and his channel is in the description already, so you can check him out. So, thank you guys. Have a great holidays. Merry Christmas to everybody, and we'll see each other hopefully very soon. Bye, guys.
Bye.